Till midnight, this is Perth Tonight with Chris Ilsley on 882 6PR.
Just before we have a chat to Ben Aylett, Aaron, thank you very much for your email. Aaron says, I think they're only intending to use the Lansdale farmland to build houses and sell them, of course. New homes and land are in more demand. Observation, greedy buggers. Ben Aylett sitting there,
Chris
looking rather
Ilsley
happy with
there.
himself, yeah.
How you doing?
Not bad. What's news that is news?
Well, we've got a heap of stuff that happened last week, which we'll be going over, of course. Actually, would you mind if I started off with a question to you?
A question to me?
Yes. Now, someone's asked me a question on Facebook, and it's just come through, and I noticed, I should get to that.
Yep.
And
before we do anything,
yes,
Brian is already on the phone waiting to have a chat to us.
Brian's on the job.
Let's give priority to people who decide to give us a buzz. By the way, if you'd like to have a chat to Ben, 922 882.
Good idea. What's up, Brian?
Oh, good evening, Chris and Ben. Last Monday evening, I sought advice from Ben from Easy Jedi Wireless on how to reactivate my 7-year-old iPad 2.
Yes.
Ben said to connect my iPad to my PC. I don't use a Mac.
Yep.
PC iTunes for Windows.
Yes.
Having 2 days prior receiving the latest iTunes update, I was successful in the reactivation. Thanks for that, Ben.
Oh, no problem, mate. My pleasure.
Also, not being a fan of iTunes over the years for Windows,
yes,
I had to wait while it installed a device driver, device driver software.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I better reboot because otherwise it won't work properly. I rebooted. Then I put in my Apple passcode and Apple ID.
Yep.
And it was all reactivated terrifically.
There you go. Yeah.
So thank you very much.
My pleasure, Brian. Thanks very much for calling. And actually, thanks very much for calling back.
Yep, it's much appreciated, Brian, because it's good to know that you get feedback. So, yep, I tried that and it worked.
Otherwise, I'm just left wondering.
Now, you said you'd received email and you wanted to ask me a question, so ask away.
Okay, yeah, because it's kind of in my wheelhouse, but it's also more in your wheelhouse, being a bit of a political sort of...
Maybe we're sharing wheelhouses here, mate.
Maybe we are. a hand each on the wheel. Anyway, Lynn has asked if e-petitions that are appearing on Facebook that people want you to sign, what's the deal? Are they legal and do they carry any weight?
Well, they're legal.
Yes.
And if they happen to touch on a certain issue, then yes, they do carry some weight. Perhaps one of the better known ones is change.org.
All right, yep.
Yeah, okay. Now, they're one of the better known ones. I do know that they have certain, not everyone, but certain petitions that have been presented have had an impact.
Yeah, so they do have a track record for actually getting stuff done.
I suppose the one thing they do is they put out electronically what used to happen in the old days. You might go into your suburban deli and there might be something happening in your area and there's a petition to the state government over it or a petition to your local council or something of that nature.
That's right, yep.
This allows them to go out there in a much wider area, gets to more people more quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, providing the petition is done properly, and there are ways, like for example, if you're presenting a petition to Parliament, it has to be presented in a certain way for the Parliament to accept it.
Gotcha. People
like Change.org know how that's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And it does change. So let me get that right, change.org. They know how that, because it's important, otherwise you get the website wrong.
Yep.
They know how to do that and how to present them. And yes, they have had impact. There's no question about that. It's actually demonstrably true.
Oh, there you go.
So there you go. Of course, there are some petitions that have no hope.
Yep. Yeah.
Right. And they have no hope because governments sometimes made their own decisions.
Yeah. The horse might have already bolted.
Yeah. Well, sometimes they've made their own decisions and that sort of stuff.
Yep.
Mind you, that's not to say that you can't successfully change their minds sometimes.
Well, yeah, it hasn't been the first time we've seen political backflips.
Oh, no, mate. I was going to say the present McGowan government have done so many backflips, they're almost declared gymnasts. Oh, seriously. But they're making backflips as a result of stupid decisions that never have been made in the first place.
Yeah. Anyway, that's kind of out of my wheelhouse. So,
well, all right, let's go in your wheelhouse. The Optus 5G rollout.
Yes. Now, if you go over to my website, which is benaylett.com, I've got a whole bunch of news articles, and one of them that I posted on the 2nd of February is Optus announcing that they are rolling out 5G early next year. Now, just to give you an idea what 5G is, So we've got 3G, which is capable of about 384 kilobits per second, and that was technology from 2001.
Yep.
4G, a bright new shining thing that we got in 2009, and that is 100 megabits per second. Okay, so we've gone from 384 to 100.
Yes.
5G has had speeds claimed of between 10 to 15 gigabits per second.
All right, claimed. What are we talking about in reality?
Okay, in reality, they've actually done real-world tests. So Optus...
In the real world?
In the real world, Telstra and Optus have managed to get 2 gigabits per second, which is, well, 2,048 megabits per second, just to give you an idea. And 4G is 100 megabits per second. So we're looking around about 20 times the speed of 4G that we're getting right now.
How's this going to run if you had this rolled out and there were loads of people on the network all trying to access it at the same time? Because the one thing we do know, the more people who jump on board for the ride, the slower the ferry goes.
That's true, and that comes down a lot to network design and how many cells they put in.
Okay, well, we know
places.
in these days of modern bean counters, slash, burn, cut, gut and shut, they're going to build the cheapest and nastiest version they possibly can because everyone does.
Well, look, we've seen networks try to do...
End of sceptical comments.
Yes, end of sceptical comments. Look, we've seen in the past how well that works because it's when corners are cut, the results are painfully apparent.
Everyone these days cuts so many corners that they set out to build a wheel. We end up with an octagon and then wonder why the wheel doesn't turn properly.
But the modern consumer, so the consumer that's using mobile services is very well connected, and if something goes wrong, they complain about it. And if they go on and complain about it, they look around at other complaints, and you can quite easily see where things are going wrong because you get a whole chorus of people saying stuff's not working, and then people go nuts, and then we have problems. And that's
what you're really saying is if all people complain about the same tune, eventually they're going to realise the song sucks.
Yes, yeah. So I'm quite bullish on 5G. I'm actually thinking it's going to be a great technology. It's
you know what the next question is here, don't you?
What's that?
Yeah. Is this 5G technology effectively an NBN killer?
Now, I've got my own personal views on this one, and
Which we want to know.
Which we want to know, of course. So 5G for me has, I suppose, the technical makings of something that is going to present some real problems for NBN. If it didn't, then we wouldn't have had the NBN sort of going up in arms a little bit. I think it was the start of last year, when 5G was being, I guess, ratified, and they were just doing initial testing.
But they must have known, and they must always have known, that this sort of thing was going to happen. I mean, we had people, including a person who was a management business consultant in his life, in his working life, who said that he'd never seen a business case for the NBN. And he'd also said that as far as he was concerned, one of the biggest flaws in the NBN was there was no allowances being made for future improvements in technology. And the belief being that wired technology would always be superior to wireless technology. And whilst that was a true statement now, there was nothing to suggest that that was going to be the case in the future. And now we're having this discussion. I'd have to argue that he was probably proven right. But there is always that. And the other factor that comes into play here, which is more or less a convenience thing for the consumer. A lot of people now, I mean, for example, we know how many people are ditching their home phone. And as much as anything, they're ditching their home phone because it's inconvenient. They can't take it with them. And the same thing with a fixed service for their internet. I mean, for a lot of people, just being able to wander around wirelessly, whether you're talking about your iPad, a laptop or something of that nature, or even your phone, that's what they want. So therefore, what they want the high-speed internet on their phone, which they're never going to hook up to the NBN anyway.
Exactly. So, and that's kind of where we're heading. So the only thing, I mean, from my point of view, the only thing keeping me on terrestrial broadband services, so I'm actually on NBN services, it's part of my business. But if I could get a mobile service that had the same download data allowance and the same speed, I mean, we're there with the speed. That's already there. But as soon as I change the download cap, that's it. I'm cutting the cord. I'm going completely cordless, and I'm quite happy to run everything off mobile data.
It's a very interesting one. BenAylett.com is the website, by the way, if you'd like to have a chat to the man, 922 11882.
One of Australia's biggest bingo events is on... 882 6PR. This is Perth Tonight with Chris Ilsley.
Yes, our Hawaiian shirt-wearing technical genius, Ben Aylett, is with us. BenAylett.com is his website. By the way, Aylett has 2 T's.
That's right.
And that's where you'll also get all the contact information. Now, we're talking about the Optus 5G rollout. At the same time, we've got Telstra Tech Centre trialling a 5G.
That's right.
They're already starting to roll theirs out, aren't they?
They're not starting to roll it out, but they are taking it a step further. So they've just opened up today their 5G Innovation Centre at the Southport Exchange on the Gold Coast. So lots of sunshine, lots of fast 5G connectivity and all that good stuff. So it's a $60 million investment from Telstra. And let's see, they're doing all sorts of fun stuff. So they're looking at augmented reality and all that sort of thing. And they've also demonstrated the first 5G field trial using a moving vehicle. Demonstrating how you can get the connection going from one cell to another without any breaks and everything. So it's high speed on the move. So mobile 5G technology, which is awesome.
In other words, what we've got is we've got major telcos demonstrating to us that essentially wireless is the way to go. That's really the message they're trying to sell here, isn't it?
It's definitely heading in that direction. They've also done a field speed test. There we go, field speed test at 3 gigabits per second down and 300 megabits per second up. So their upload speed is 3 times as fast as my best download speed, which I just can't wait. That's going to be fantastic when that happens. And they've also got drones enabled with artificial intelligence, and they're being used by Surf Life Saving Australia. On a massive scale, they're using 5G technology to actually target each drone, and their remote control. That's just looking awesome. And also they demonstrated a robotic arm.
Beautiful.
Yep. That's really, really cool. And again, just carrying on with the theme, 5G technology, it's looking really exciting. It's about as exciting as the 4G or the 4GX when that happened because we got amazing download speeds. We've just got to sort that data cap out, and we are home and hosed.
And the data cap's only artificial, isn't it?
I don't know. I've asked, sometimes I've got, yes, it's artificial. Sometimes I've got, no, it's not artificial. And I guess it really depends on the point of view.
All right, you're a technical dude. You know this. I mean, we're talking about virtual things. Where we talk about data packets, it's all virtual.
Yep.
When they talk about this data caps and charging for data,
yes,
are we talking about something that's real, or is it something that largely is just imagined?
It's sometimes it's an artificial limit that's put in, and it's not necessarily put in by the telcos. It's put in by the telcos. So so our ISPs, they don't make up the internet. They don't do the big backhaul stuff. They then lease bandwidth of other big cable providers that we've never even heard the name of. And they're the ones who sort out the contracts, and they say, this is what it's going to cost you.
Are we just simply seeing an old-fashioned business model of a manufacturer, wholesaler and retailer?
Yep.
Are we just seeing that business model being amplified through this? For example, are we getting to the point where we really don't need the middlemen in this equation? All they're doing is chunking it up and making a nice tidy profit for themselves.
What the ISPs do provide us with is not only packaging of services. So instead of just data or just phones or just TV, they're actually bundling it all together. They're making the contracts and they're financing it all
of that's going to be indistinguishable in the future anyway, isn't it? Because it's essentially going to be the same thing.
Yeah, but it's coming from different places. So you're not going to have an internet wholesale company producing TV shows, and you're not going to see Netflix offering internet services, although maybe we might.
Oh, would you like to bet against that? I wouldn't like to bet against that.
Probably not, because we have seen Foxtel gone in and start offering NBN services.
And Foxtel's offering broadband.
Well, yeah, they are. Huh. Maybe. That's something to think about. There you go.
It is indeed.
You could hear the gears turning live on air just
Sure
then.
can. By the way, from Aaron, thank you very much for your email, Aaron.
Yes.
He says, Ben, I have a MacBook Air. I'd like to know whether I can get Windows 10 on it and will it run stable? Also, I'd like to be able to run games that need high-powered processors. All possible? Yes, no?
Okay, with the Windows, yes, possible. You've got to look at a program called Boot Camp or Boot Camp Assistant. It comes with your Mac and it will allow you to run Windows 10. It will cost you a license, though, so you'll need to get a proper version of Windows 10 and install it and run it properly.
That means don't get a Bali version.
No.
By the way, I just thought I'd throw that in.
Don't do that because you're just inviting trouble. And I don't mean with the authorities, I mean with viruses and all the sorts of stuff that you need to protect yourself against with updates. Now, playing games that require a lot of grunt on a MacBook Air. Good luck with that. The MacBook Air, in comparison to
Am I hearing the voice of skepticism here?
Yeah, I have my doubts. So if you're wanting to play something like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds or Call of Duty or any other game that really demands a lot of high-end graphics, I think you're going to struggle with a MacBook Air. A MacBook Pro, a spec'd-up MacBook Pro maybe, but look, if you want a really good gaming experience, the only way to do it is to get a good gaming computer.
Yep. You pay for them, but you're saying they're worth it if you're really into gaming.
If you love your gaming, don't dilly-dally. Just go in there and get yourself a decent gaming. You can get a gaming laptop. You can get those. They're out there. So Lenovo does one. Dell does one. I think HP have got a pretty decent gaming laptop. And if you want to go the whole hog, you can actually build your own gaming desktop. And that's an adventure in itself.
Yep. Daniel's got a really interesting take on what we've been talking about, the whole 5G things.
Yeah.
He says, so you can use up to your minuscule mobile data cap even faster. NBN fibre was capable of 1 gigabits from day one. 10 gigabits symmetrical was trialled by NBN Co last year, and the maximum theoretical capacity is multi-terabyte speeds.
Yes.
Or to put it another way, those 5G towers will be connected with fibre.
Oh, of course they will, yeah. Oh, that's a no-brainer. It'll either be fibre or they'll be using microwave backhaul as well. So
unbelievable. Now, what's that other thing? NBN had jumped out of multicasting technology. Why?
Okay, well, we'll start off with what is multicasting technology.
Yeah.
So that is using the NBN network to not only deliver internet services and voice services, but TV services as well. And multicasting is basically the special sauce that makes it possible to do...
so why would they opt out of that? That would be one of the prime things that people who still have fixed line-based services would want.
Well, they're saying there hasn't been enough interest or demand for it. And I don't know, I haven't heard much about
well, that might have been a lot better if they hadn't tried to shove NBN down bloody old-fashioned copper when HFC was available.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another bone of contention as well. So we do have a bit of a laundry list of things where it could have been better.
NBN's no longer available in our suburb because of that.
Oh, really?
I think I had just a little bit of influence in that. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Started asking questions about it. I want to know whether it was on the old copper or whether it was down the HFC.
Yeah.
And not that long ago, we got a letter saying the NBN's no longer available in our suburb until further notice because of this issue, because it's blown up in other parts of the country.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You don't touch the HFC. That works fine.
Well, what if they were NBN were taking over? Why wouldn't they shove it down the HFC that was there? Why would they
I have no idea.
Try and shove it down copper?
Yeah.
I mean, this is, mate, you know, when we were talking earlier about slash, burn, cut, gut and shut, and what happens when somebody decides to build a wheel, cuts so many corners, they end up with an octagon and then wonder why the wheel doesn't turn. This is a classic example.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so look, anyway, getting back to multicast versus unicast. Now, multicast is really, really efficient, so it's a lot like how we deal with, let's say, a TV station or a radio station. There's one transmitter, goes out to many receivers all at one time. So that's
put out one signal which multiple receivers can hear.
That's right. So it's great for things like live TV and live transmissions. Unicast is a little more like YouTube, so it's all on demand. So I might ask for a video.
So it only fires up when the consumer demands it.
That's right, only demands it. But it's also, it has to be repeated over many times. So you might have a unicast server sitting inside a network, and I might request a video, you might request a video, and Jess might request a video, and they have all those videos streaming at the same time. Slows it down. That's right.
It's inevitable.
Divide it up in more ways instead of just one way.
Oh, dear. Last drinks, by the way, if you'd like to have a chat to Ben Aylett from benaylett.com is his website. That's where you'll also find all of his information.
The Scarborough Toyota Rumour File. 882 6PR. This is Perth Tonight with Chris Ilsley.
Indeed, Ben Aylett here from Easy Wireless. By the way, his website, it's benaylett.com. That's with 2 T's.
That's right.
If you'd like to have a chat to Ben, 92211 882 is the telephone number. G'day, John.
G'day, Ben. G'day, Chris. Quick question, Ben.
Yes, John.
Are you aware of any medical Duress alarm that's available when you're outside the house? I'm not talking about a mobile phone app.
Ooh. How far away from the house are you talking?
Oh, it could be out anywhere.
Oh, okay, anywhere. Medical duress alarm? Oh, geez, I can't think of any apart from an EPIRB.
Yeah,
But that's probably going a little too far, but yeah, that's...
Yeah, I think we're going a little bit too far. I do have an emergency app on the mobile.
Yeah.
And you press the app, brings up 000, and it also gives you your location
Yes.
and the GPS coordinates.
Perfect.
I did have an incident in the car, and because what was happening on the brain wasn't switched on,
Yep.
rather than use the app, I did the hands-free and manually dialed in 000.
Oh, okay.
And I had a bit of a problem with the operator telling her the street I was in,
Yep.
and I sort of lost it with her up to a point, and I said, Google, go to Google Maps,
Yep.
Google these 2 streets. There's a shopping centre, big shopping centre there on the corner.
Yeah.
I'm in the street behind the shopping centre.
So you had to tell her how to use Google.
Yeah, well, I had to tell her where to look. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But I seen the specialist today,
Yep.
and I said, "Oh no, it's all right. I got an app on the phone," and she said, "Yeah, but you might not be switched on enough to use it."
Which is a good point.
That is a
It's
really
very
good point. Yeah. So that's probably an invention waiting to happen. And so, yeah.
I bet there are devices
Okay,
active.
can you work on it for next week? Can you work on it? Maybe dream something up by Friday.
I'll see what I can do, mate. I'll cram it in between all the other work I've got to do.
Might
No
also be
worries.
worth asking the question to find. I'm sure there would be some sort of a device out like that by now.
Yeah. And look, if not, I've actually got a new customer who's all about the Internet of Things and monitoring and sort of emergency services and stuff like that. So, yeah, I might do a bit of poking around because that could be really, really useful.
Thank you very much for that, John. Indeed. Yeah, that's the thing that I'm sort of wondering about. Now, you got a Microsoft emergency patch.
Oh, yes. Microsoft has patched a patch, if that makes any sense.
So we've patched the patch after we found a problem which needed a patch. So we've patched the patch's patch. Right, go.
Okay, yeah. So well, let's start at the beginning. There was a flaw that was discovered that affected all Intel processors, all AMD processors, and most ARM processors.
Yep.
And it's a combination of 2 flaws. One is called Spectre, the other one is called Meltdown. And then to fix it, we either have to replace the processors or we get the likes of Microsoft, Apple, Linux, whatever, and they make their own little software patches. And this is usually the area that they don't dabble in.
Yep.
Okay, so this is dealing with the hardware, more with the hardware, less with the software, and they're trying to fix it.
So what's the patch?
Okay, the patch was used to fix the Spectre vulnerability.
Yep.
And it sort of slowed things down. It made it less susceptible to this problem. And unfortunately, the first patch that was rolled out
Didn't work.
well, it worked, but it had a side effect of having computers reboot, hang and slow down, and do all sorts of nasty stuff. So
that
basically,
sucks.
all the things you don't want to have happen. And just over the weekend, Microsoft released a patch to fix the patch, to basically roll back the patch.
Gotcha.
So we're back to being vulnerable, and at least the computer runs, I guess.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, which is a real pain. And it's been a very, very long time since we've seen something like this go so bad with an update.
Oh, dear. Well, it does happen. But
It does.
At least they fixed it.
We're getting there.
Hello, Debbie.
Hello. The gentleman that just rang about the alarm,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was John. Yep.
yep, you can actually get personal alarms that you wear around your neck, and they work from anywhere, and you put 5 numbers in,
Yeah.
5 different people, and then you can press that and it'll get them.
Does that not only work around your house, though, or does that work anywhere?
No, it works anywhere.
So it must work with a mobile phone network then?
I don't know, but I've just read it on the internet that it works anywhere, and I know people that have got it, that they use it anywhere.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Very good. Well, it's I'm actually just having a quick look around. I've just stumbled on the Silver
thank
Chain
you very
site.
much for that, Debbie.
Yes.
I've also got an SMS from Kathy, or
Yes.
sorry, an email from Kathy.
Uh-huh.
Chris, medicine alert, check RAC security.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Medicine alert. That's what it says. Medicine alert, check RAC security.
Okay.
It may also be medic alert. Check.
Medical alert. There we go.
Yeah. RAC security.
Medical IDs. Gotcha.
Yep, good stuff.
All right. More stuff to check out.
Indeed. And what's this about skimmers?
Oh, skimmers. Now, this is really, really cool. We all know about skimmers. They're sitting on the front of the ATM. You put your card in, they get your card numbers, a duplicate a card, and bingo, bango, your card's gone.
Wouldn't happen if they just used the smart chip and got rid of the stupid 70s magnetic strip.
True, but there is a genius guy who has found out that the new range of skimmers have actually got a little Bluetooth chip in them. So the bad guys can then wirelessly pick up the data as they walk past, and they're done. They don't have to pull it off. Or they don't have to hook it up to a cable or anything.
So they can read your magnetic strip as they walk past you. Do they have to walk alongside you or just simply walk past you?
No. When the bad guys walk past the ATMs, they've put the skimmer on.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So what he's found out is they are using a very common Bluetooth chip called the HC05. Now, the HC05 is incredibly cheap, insanely cheap to put together. It's about $3 to $5.
Yep.
And it has a couple of drawbacks. One of them is that it is always going to be called HC05. You can't change the name of the chip. The other drawback is that the passcode to get into the administrative parts of the chip is 1, 2, 3, 4. So this clever guy called Nathan, who's the founder and CEO of Spark Fun Electronics, he has now built a little app which is available in the Android store, coming to iOS very soon, I hope, where it will use the Bluetooth receiver on the phone to look around for any chips that are called HC05 in the immediate area.
Yep.
And then it'll go and do a little probe and it'll say, what are you attached to? And if it comes back and says, I'm attached to a card reader, it's going to say, well, you're a skimmer, and it's going to tell you. So now we don't have to grab the fronts of ATMs and give them a good old tug to see if we can pull any skimmers off it. We just walk up with our phone, give it a scan, and hey presto, you know if you're going to be scanned or not.
Oh, I love it. As always, my friend, thank you very much. We'll have a chat again next week.
I'll catch you then.
All right, meantime, Ben Aylett with 2ts.com is the website. That's where you'll find all the information you're looking for, plus you'll also find all the contact information.
Imagine one of your elderly loved ones has had a fall in their home and can't get up. In pain, alone.